What's up, people? It's another edition of the New Breed Podcast, of what's best new metal adjacent podcast from two youths who are really there. I'm one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horsecow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious TIM, Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
Great.
You're doing great. I'm doing
Let's do
great.
it.
We're hanging in there. So, what are we doing this week? So, we're going to do another unscripted deep dive this week, kids. So, what does that mean? So, Tim and I have a prepared list of chunks of 5 albums, of stuff that we know that him and I, without listening to, without any prep, we could launch into this album, maybe pull up some side notes, and then talk about them because we feel that strongly or that much love for these albums. So we're going to do that this week. We're going to roll the dice, see what Google comes back with as the random number generator, and whatever album it picks is the album we're going to dive into. So what are the available picks for this week? Number 1, Martyr A.D. Unearth As Is in Hell. Number 2, Glassjaw, Worship and Tribute. Number 3, Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire. Number 4, Thrice Is the Illusion of Safety. And number 5, Sepultura's Roots. Man, this is a fucking murderer's row right here. Yeah. And I got to go back and reshake some of the other stuff where we've done one already. All right, so the random number generator comes back with number 1, Martyr A.D. On Earth As It Is in Hell. All right, so Victory Records, right? This is the band which came out of Disembodied. This is the first album with the new singer because what was his name? Mike Fischetti. He's the one that left, right?
Yep.
So late 99, Disembodied breaks up. Aaron was doing his thing. The band basically gets together. So the guitarist Joel, the bassist Tara, and Justin on drums, Charlie Johnson, and they get Mike Fischetti from vocals. They do Human Condition in 12 Fractions, which has the Montreal Screwjob and some amazing, amazing songs. Last time I came out of Mosh Retirement was from Martyr A.D. This is hardcore. Fast forwarding, what is it? 2 years? 3 years. And they do On Earth As It Is in Hell for Victory Records. So this is, Tim, let's take a second to talk about Victory at this time, right? This is the Victory's second wave. Right? So the first wave was Dead Guy and Earth Crisis and Strife and Snapcase and all that stuff. Hi-Fi and the Roadburners and Baby Gopal and Donuts, right? But in all seriousness, so they did that whole first wave of bands. They got huge. Integrity, right? How can we forget Integrity, right? Seasons in the Size of Days. So they do Bloodlet, right? Dead Guy. That's all that first wave stuff. And then the hardcore is going, where hardcore is taking on more of a metalcore type approach. The hardcore that's influenced more by metal than punk is starting to become ascendant. And you end up with this second round of Victory bands, which is keeping Victory relevant. Stuff like Martyr A.D., stuff like Scars of Tomorrow, stuff like
Premonitions of War,
stuff like Dead to Fall. So this is that whole Atreyu, right? Atreyu was Victory, weren't they?
Atreyu was Tribunal, and then were they?
I think so.
Yeah, you have to look that up. I'm curious.
I think they were Victory. That first major label, their major label album was Victory discography. Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses was on Victory. Yep, Eric Rachel.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So this is again the second wave of Victory, where Tony Victory, give him credit where credit is due. He grabbed all these bands that were part of that rising metalcore wave, and they, we should probably deep dive this album too because it's a great album. But anyway, they killed it. And I remember. So Tim, what were your first impressions of this album when it came out?
The Martyr A.D.
Yes.
Listen, man. There's a few records in this world where I put it on and I laugh how fucking brutal and just disgusting the mosh is. This is one of them records where every fucking song just beats the shit out of you at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a day in my life I was on lunch at my old job, was doing Ill Street. We just started interviewing people, and I was like, I would fucking love to talk to someone from Martyr A.D. I go on Google. I Google the people in the band, and Charles Allen Johnson comes up, and I was like, hmm. I was like, I'm not familiar with him. I know fucking Fischetti and all them dude. I know Tara, her and her husband and stuff. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna message him. Dude, literally 30 seconds later, he messages me back. Dude, would love to. Cool. And I was like, wow, that was fucking easy. I'm like, that was the easiest interview I
Hmm.
ever got. I was scared he wasn't gonna call. He fucking called and had one of the greatest conversations ever.
He was a bullshit belt buckle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
One
had
of
him
the
on
best
like
screen names of all time.
two, three more times, and we just started the bullshit all the time. Like, dude, really cool fucking dude. And then I remember they just happened to get booked at This Is Hardcore, and I was like, dude, this is like, I swear to God, it was meant to be where like we got that interview because nobody was interviewing them, and I just was like, I want to interview old bands. And
Hmm.
it was just they were one of them. He answered, and I was like, "Cool, man." And then I got Aaron from Disembodied on. I mean, it was, dude, that was a cool time for podcasting, man. And then I feel like everybody was just like, "Oh, we're gonna do this now too," and it's like, "Fuck you."
Oh well, it got overrun because everybody got in the game, and then COVID happens, and then everybody else got in the game, and it was kind of. It's my favorite Martyr A.D story is the year they played This Is Hardcore. I went and picked up a T-shirt for our buddy Pat, who is much smaller than me. And when I walked up to the table and said, "Yeah, I'll take that T-shirt in a medium," Tara looked at me like I had a dick growing out my forehead. Like, there's no way, dude, you're fitting this thing. And I wanted to be like, "It's not for me. It's not for me." Uh, that was an unreal set, and they sounded
Yeah.
amazing. And this album, so the first time I saw them, it was at the church in Philly, and it was Martyr A.D., Premonitions of War, I think Evergreen Terrace, and
Ooh.
Embrace Today.
Oh wow.
So it was a monster lineup, or maybe like the Red Chord was there, maybe a Life Once Lost is there. I saw so many of those church shows, all the lineups get intermixed, but they were, and it wasn't Fischetti singing; it was the second guy. It was fantastic. Like you're right, this album, you put it on and automatically you close your eyes and you just start giggling because every song has a monster breakdown. Every
Yeah.
song.
And it's not like them breakdowns where you're like, I knew that was gonna happen. These are like breakdowns where you're just like, whoa, like someone's dying during that.
Yes.
It's funny talking about Martyr AD merch. I remember going to This Is Hardcore and texting Charlie, and I was like, "Yo, man, like, where the fuck are you guys at? Like, I need a shirt." And he was like, "Bro, we sold out of them in 30 seconds." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "But I saved you one." And I was like, "I fucking love you." And then I didn't get it all from that day. He actually sent it to me like 3 weeks
Right.
later.
Right.
And then they put out a huge merch drop, and I just picked up another one. But dude, like that's the most amazing part about doing this kind of shit is when you meet bands and you get friendly with them, and then it's just like Adam from Orthodox. I'm like, yo, before you
Yeah.
guys go on tour, you need to send here's what's your PayPal. I'm gonna send you the money. I I want
Hmm.
I want some of them tour shirts, and he'll be like, yeah, I got you. I love that
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's one of the cool things about doing this is we do get to meet and talk to all sorts of amazing people, right? And there's that old saying of don't meet your idols, don't because they're just going to
Oh
disappoint
yeah,
you. But I will honestly say we've been lucky in the sense that most say 99.9% of the people we come across really fun, friendly people, you
yeah,
know.
absolutely, man. But yeah,
But this album, I mean, if you think about their contemporaries, right? So their contemporaries were Dead to Fall, playing the same type of metalcore, breakdown, heavy, Swedish, As Hope Dies, Sweden influenced metalcore. Them, Dead to Fall, there was a lot of that, right? And then the other side of the house was the who's the guy who tried to kill his wife? As I Lay Dying. There was the As I Lay Dying, Winter Solstice, right? Remember that band?
oh,
There
I
was
love it.
that type of metalcore. But this was more of a hardcore friendly mosh centric stuff.
Yeah, I remember when we interviewed him. I asked him, and I said, I don't really consider you guys the originators of the alarm clock riff, but I kind of feel like you guys are the ones that mastered it where everybody fucking stole it after.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, people were doing it. Converge used to have a lot of that stuff, but they weren't using it as a mosh part. They were using it as like when you get like a really fast part and they just add it in, like a lot of bands do it, like Serration does it a lot
Yeah,
and shit
yeah,
like that. I think using that as a mosh part, I think Martyr A.D. took it from Disembodied. Obviously, a lot of same members. I mean, Tara and fucking what's his name, the guitar player, were in Disembodied, and I believe the drummer might have been for a little bit.
Yes, when
But
they started,
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, they use that a lot, not moshy wise, but they use it a lot. And I think Martyr AD took it where they were just like, we're gonna add this part in as mosh parts. And when they did it, it was just fucking out of control. Like
Uh,
chaos, dude.
the second real track, the third song of the album, "Serpent and the Flower," right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's with the it literally is the alarm clock over and over and over again. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
I go
mean
back and
Dillinger did it, but
yeah, but Dylan, I agree. Dillinger is also on a world of their own. Like I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
I still think they are. When it's all said and done, maybe Tim, one day we get drunk and we do the 10 when it's 2050. What are the 10 most influential modern hardcore bands?
In 2050?
Dillinger,
Okay.
Converge, Disembodied, whether you like it or not, because they've
Yeah.
influenced everybody.
Everybody.
I would argue Earth Crisis gets a spot on that list. I
Oh,
would
fuck
argue
yeah.
Shai Hulud, maybe.
Hatebreed.
Hatebreed.
Terror.
Absolutely. I you know what? I will even say Bloodlet,
Oh,
because
fuck
they
yeah.
got weird and they gave everybody else the green light to get weird. So
Did you say
what is it?
Converge?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Converge is that band where they put out a record and everybody goes, all right, we have to do that now.
Meshuggah, same thing. Meshuggah
Yeah.
is their metal analog where everybody's just sitting there with the 8 string in their laps, just going, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Like when Jane Doe came out, everybody wanted to sound like that. And
Yes.
for good reasons. I mean, that record is flawless.
Yep. And 18 months later, that sound was totally aped. And then
Oh
they
my
went in the
God,
other
yeah.
direction and did You Fail Me, which I remember at the time going, I'm not so sure if I like this, but I'm not so sure if I like this as a Converge album, but I like this. And it took 2-3 more listens, and I went, no, this is right where they needed to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you pretty much nailed all them bands.
So back to this album, Tim. What is, off the top of your head, what is your favorite track of this album?
Oh man, dude, that's hard.
And it is hard to pick one, just one.
Well, we did the top 10 breakdowns a couple weeks ago. And the song I picked, which how the fuck I'm forgetting what song it is.
Was it American Hollow?
No. It's amazingly, this record does not have a wiki.
I know, which is kind of wild.
The band has a wiki, but the album doesn't. And I'm forgetting the titles of the fucking songs. If you could find them somehow.
Yes, I've got them.
All right, what's number 3?
Number 3 is Serpent and the Flower.
What's 2?
2 is Bring Out Your Dead. So it's Bring Out Your Dead.
Yeah, it's Bring Out Your Dead. Yeah.
What a fucking monster. That's the first song on the album.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's insane that's the first song on the album. And that's the one, I think they did a video for that, I think. I went the other way. Into Stone is my favorite song, because that's that breakdown where it's like, okay, I want you to take your guitar off. I want you to grab it like you're Conan the Barbarian. And I want you to crush the skull of the person nearest to you, because it is just bananas.
What's the song where they're like, it's like really fast, like that hardcore beat, and it just stops and it just goes dun, dun,
that's
dun,
it.
Dun,
dun,
is that
dun,
in the song? Yeah, dude, that shit. And then it goes down,
yep.
dude. Yo, and This Is Hardcore. That floor was shaking during that song. It was fucking shaking, dude.
Yeah.
I was sitting, like, my fucking jaw fell down when they played that song, dude. Yeah, you know what? I love Bring Out Your Dead, but that song is probably number 2. Yeah.
But I mean, when you go back, so it's easy to forget the song titles, right? Because this, to me, you know what the analog to this album is for me? Bury Your Dead, You Had Me at Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Because every single song is a mosherific masterpiece. And it's one of those albums where you listen to the whole thing, play it again, I loved every minute. Play it again. Same thing with Bury Your Dead. You go back and listen to You Had Me at Hello, the original recording. You'll get to the Bury Your Fucking Dead at the end. And you're like, all right, hit it again. Let's do it.
Do you have the Bury Your Dead Coffin DVD thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I have that too. That thing rules.
I think I have two. One is I use as a DVD, one I use as a CD. Can we talk
Yeah,
about the
well, it
fact that
has a DVD and CD, right?
but I had scratched one side, so I have two
Oh, yeah,
copies.
yeah, okay.
Can we talk about Matt Brusso catching a headstock on the second song, ripping his scalp open and finishing fucking show?
Oh, yeah, that's in the DVD, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, where
yeah,
he does the guitar throw and it clips him.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
he loses no fucking momentum from that.
no, no. The other thing I will say about that DVD while we're covering, and I love these unscripted deep dives because we go into all these weird areas. The version of Legend that they play
Oh, yeah.
on the live recording is about a half step faster, and it actually I think makes the song better because it's faster.
I would agree in that sense. Absolutely. That
But I
that that is another record, like you said, that just every song just beats your ass.
yes, we got to go back and do the top breakdowns because there is so much that I forgot. I forgot Full Blown Chaos. I'm going to say this out loud. And I'm going to really get upset with myself that I'm going to say this out loud. I forgot First Blood. That
Oh my
EP
god,
and
dude.
California are monster albums.
You know
Just
who else around that era is the Walls of Jericho stuff has some ridiculous launch
All
parts.
Hail the Dead,
Oh yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah. Now you got me thinking of So with First Blood, I go to Walls of Jericho. I go to that first Terror EP, which was came out of nowhere, and everybody was like, "Holy shit!" Um, Hunter Demons came out right about the same time. That Scars of Tomorrow album.
Oh,
Jeez, so
rope. Yeah.
there's so much out there. But yeah, so back to this, Tim. Did you ever get to see these guys live when they were touring before the reunion, like when they were actually an active band?
I don't think so. No. And I could be wrong because I didn't, and it's sad for me to say I knew Disembodied. Like Heroin Fingers was like it's still one of my favorite songs ever. And when they played that at This Is Hardcore, I'd never seen a crowd go that fucking crazy. Anyway, I love Disembodied, obviously, but I honestly don't remember them forming Martyr AD, but I
Mm-hmm.
remember hearing them in like 2010 and was like, how the fuck did I miss this? And then, obviously it's 2024 and I fucking love everything they've done, but I honestly don't think I've ever seen them live. I might have seen them and just didn't know, but no, I can't tell you yes.
I will say that shout out to Little Bobby. I was very lucky to see a lot of those contemporary shows where he would get tickets to something and we would just go to a show and it'd be like, oh, okay, well, who's playing? All right, well, whatever. Shout out to WSOU and the free shows they used to do at Club Chrome. We ended up at so many. God, Remembering Never, Bury Your Dead, Between the Buried and Me. We saw a Perfect Murder there. We saw so many great bands. Misery fucking Signals. Misery Signals with Jesse. I saw a Club Chrome.
Never seen them.
Oh, the
It pains me, man.
the This Is Hardcore set was one for the ages. I mean, my feet hurt that day, but goddamn, that was a hell of a set. It was a hell of a set.
Listen, dude, them touring with Jesse and fucking Carl is a really, really burning my ass that it's not coming to Philly.
Yeah, I mean, what's the closest it came to was Brooklyn, right? The other night it
And
played
it's
Brooklyn.
sold out, but like it really burns my ass that they're not playing
I
Philly.
I am hopeful that they're going to release a live DVD. Hopeful.
Yeah, because to me, that's another Sepultura moment where you never thought you're going to see Carl ever again. I thought they had a huge
Right.
falling out.
Right.
Obviously, they're cool enough for him to be like, yeah, I'll do it, which is super cool because I think on it, obviously, I always say I think Carl's the best singer for that band. I think Controller is their best record, which you have to listen to because we spoke about this.
I've listened to it. I think there's every Carl album. There were a couple of tracks I really, really, really enjoyed. That being said, I will always emotionally, it will never come close to that.
Magnum, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I get that. I totally get why you like that record the best, but Controller just hits it, man. It's just every facet of that record is perfect.
Um, I was just thinking one of the deep dives we should do, and we can do this as a discography deep dive because probably shouldn't take more than an hour. We should do a deep dive on Zayo
Ooh, yeah.
because I mean, you want to talk about a band that every album has a couple of sneaky great tracks. Um, I think that Live from the Church album they did this year was unbelievable because it's all B-sides and very not a lot of the singles, if you can call a band play singles. But I think about like The Fear Is What Keeps Us Here and some of the later stuff. They put together an amazing fucking catalog. And
Dude,
maybe
they
we
really
do
have, man.
we'll do a deep dive into Zayo's discography, and it'll be you and I each build a list of best song off each album.
Or
We haven't done that yet.
or that's a great idea. Or we do a two-part of that and we do the first four records because, all else failed, where Blood and Fire bring rest, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Then we stop it at Liberate or is it Liberate or Liberate?
Liberate.
We stop it at Liberate. And then because I kind of feel like Liberate is where they stopped that certain sound because they had a certain sound from like All Else Failed to Liberate, I think.
Yeah, because it was All Else Failed, Where Blood and Fire Bring to Rest, Splinter Shards of Birth and Separation.
I think Splinter was before that, or it doesn't matter, but yeah.
But it was the first four, and then it was Liberate and X in
Yeah.
Paris. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
from
yeah.
there, it flips over to self-titled Year One, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think after Liberate they kind of go in a different direction.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe we
Okay.
split it into and you know what's a good idea too? I think Scott would come on with us for that.
Yeah, we should reach out. I would love to have that
Yeah, he's
conversation
a
because
super cool dude. Yeah.
I actually, out of we've talked about this. They're one of those sneaky bands for me where I forget how much I like them until I listen to it and I go, "Holy shit! I forgot how awesome this shit is." And I go back and I deep dive everything. They've done one album that I really wasn't keen on, and it was Awake. That was the only album I really didn't like. I thought Funeral for God was great. I
Yeah.
thought The Fear Is What Keeps Us Here, the one they did with Steve Albini, I thought was unbelievable.
That is a good record, yeah. But to me, Liberate is just
Oh,
that record is so good, dude.
that opening track, that breakdown, right? You want to talk about a band with breakdown where it cuts into halftime and everything drops out and it's just the drums and the bass. And then what's the first song off of what's the album after that?
You know who else has a good mosh part is the opener on where Blood and Fire Bring Rest. That fucking song is so good. The
But
vocals on that era are just top notch for me, man.
you know what I was thinking of 5 Year Winter
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh fuck yeah.
when he hits the end and it's burn it down and walk away. Like, okay, hit somebody. Just
Yeah.
hit somebody.
Has this become a Zayo deep dive or a Martyr
I
AD?
think we kind of went off the reservation here. So yeah, so back to Martyr A.D. And they were from where were they from, Tim?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So did you know that they did a demo with Jared from Seven Angels Seven Plagues?
I found that on Soulseek
Okay.
and I listened
What do
to
you
it and
think of it?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was good. I why didn't they end up not going that way? I forgot.
He fucking told me why they didn't, and I totally forget why. He
You gotta
super did tell me that.
you gotta dig out that episode so we can listen.
Yeah, I will dig that out and I'll send it to you. He told us why. Just fucking forget why he said something. Maybe it was something like something didn't work out with the band. Why I could have swore. I don't. You know what? I don't want to say it on the episode. I don't want to start rumors in case someone picks this up somehow.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to start rumors, but I'll tell you after this. But yeah, because I don't need to be. We don't need to be on Lambgo for some bullshit that's not
Yeah,
true.
it's bullshit. Yeah. Well, then again, I mean, no publicity is bad publicity. So it'd be nice to have everybody talking about it. So we'll have a bunch of Lamb Goat shit posters hopping on, which would be kind of
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. They did a demo after that, and I think the demo after that was with the singer on Earth as It Is in Hell. I forget who the singer on Earth was. I think he was in like one of them like posse horror bands. The fuck was that his name? Man, what is his name? I also think Fischetti would have been better on all of it, but
Oh yeah, but I would agree. But I also think that
it's Carl Hensel. That's right. He was in what the fuck is that band?
oh, I just saw that. I just saw that. What was he in?
And the drummer
Holding
was
on. Holding
Holding On.
on.
There you go. Yeah. And it was Justin Kane on drums, and I forget
Mhm.
what band he was in too. He might have been in that band as well.
So I found a website that actually has a MediaFire link to the summer 2003 demo,
Ooh.
which is Faith Healer, American Hollow, Terminal, Into Stone, and Bring Out Your Dead.
Send that over.
Yeah, I will send it over. It's kind of, dude, God bless the internet. And I also, same website has that was their 2000 summer '03. There was the 2002 demo with Jared.
Yeah, send that over too. I don't know if I have that still.
All right, I'll download that. And then there is the Human Condition demo.
Oh, that was after that was right before Human Condition. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that one sounds like shit, I think.
All right.
But I want to talk about this too because we brought this up in the interview and then the interviews after. He was very surprised that people were like into that band still, and like I think the interview was like 2017 if I remember
I think
correctly,
so. Yeah. Yeah.
and he was like, I just can't believe that people actually care about this band. So I'm like, why though? Like, I don't understand why certain people in bands don't understand why people gravitate towards bands like that. Because I
Um,
told him, like, I gave him five. I'm like, here's five bands that rip you guys off. I don't remember who exactly I told him. And I told him to listen to him. I don't remember if he even got back to me about it, but it was five bands back then. I'm like, they're like, one was Code Orange. I'm like, dude, come on, man. They're
uh,
stealing.
I
They're a
mean,
disembodied clone, and they'll tell you that.
I shout out to Joe Hardcore who made a remark in the interview he did with Josh Trustkill, which is a great interview by the way.
It is good.
Joe was talking about Knock Loose, and he said Knock Loose is disembodied riffs with Brothers Keeper vocals,
Oh, absolutely. He's
and
100% right.
he said that, and I burst out laughing because I remember the first time I heard Brothers Keeper, I couldn't get past Mike Ski's vocals, and yet here we are, a decade later. It works for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you go back and listen to Brothers Keeper, I think they're a great band.
But to your point, right? I would think, I'm supposing here, I'm speculating. I think some of these band guys, when their band doesn't get up, break big and get huge and all that sort of stuff, they probably think that they're going to be forgotten to the annals of time. And they don't realize that, especially those bands 2001 on, right? When the internet was a thing, it was a possibility that a niche band from a niche location, not in a major metro, could build up a hell of a following.
Yeah.
And that the internet enabled that stuff. I mean, look at how big On Broken Wings is in the general discourse. They have recorded that one song 6 times.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would love to have Jonathan on, like Mosh Beef. Great screen name, by the way. I would love to have him on and chat about that because they were a fun live band. But a band like that without the internet doesn't get noticed. And yet here we are. Like the internet allows bands that had a little bit of a small following to build what's the word I'm looking for here? The beers are really kicking in. Stop drinking the IPAs. That organic type of atmosphere, right? Like for example, Premonitions of War. Left in Kowloon is an amazing album. It is
Yeah.
abrasive. It is the precursor to a lot of the grindcore we see nowadays, power violence. Uh, I'll bet you if you grabbed all five of those guys and said, "Yo, do you realize how impactful you guys were?" They would go, "Get the fuck out of here! I don't want to hear it."
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the tour I just talked about, Embrace Today, that straight edge sound, that first album, Soldiers, is fucking awesome. I would challenge everybody, pause this episode, Embrace Today. The album name is Soldiers. It's on Death Wish. Don't listen to the album after. It's terrible. Or if you can find the EP, Fuck You, I'm Edge, listen to that too. Awesome, fucking fast paced straight edge. If I didn't have a prior obligation, I would be flying out to Detroit to see them with the Red Chord
Mm.
and all that other stuff that's playing because why not?
You know what's funny about you bringing that up? that is one of the genres I think right now that hasn't came back. Like that 10-yard fight, that where fear and weapons meet kind of stuff, where
Oh,
it's like,
the double time straight edge stuff.
yeah, or it's just every song is just fucking and it's just riff, riff,
Yep.
2 minutes
Yep.
done. You don't really see that anymore at all. Like, what band could you think? I mean, I can't say Terror does it because Terror is just a hardcore band for me.
Terror is its
Obviously,
own. They clear their own lane.
obviously the bands I'm talking about are hardcore bands, but you don't really have the bands that just come out of the gate with that riff and that beat and they just fucking do it the whole time.
You know
You know
what?
what I
You're
mean?
right. That sound hasn't made a return. That the two step straight edge. Like
Yeah, the whole time it's that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And every song is a minute. And every song is 90 seconds. Uh,
Yeah.
back. Here we go. I'm going to quote myself from a previous episode. Looking forward. That looking
Yeah.
forward sound. That double time hardcore
Yeah.
sound.
Carry on. Shit like that.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
never came back. Like if you
Yep.
put on The Weapon from Where Fear and Weapons Meet, that record is perfect.
Were you ever a fan, Tim? We're getting wildly off topic here. Were you ever a fan of uh Santa Sangre?
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah. Another victim. Yep.
Oh,
The
oh
Promise,
fuck
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
dude.
because
Yeah.
they all those what is Syracuse, Albany bands, they all kind
Yep.
of just bled together. Yeah.
You remember Dying Breed?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, not comparable, but goddamn, that record is so fucking good.
Now you got me listening to fucking Where Fear and Weapons Meet tomorrow. And I'm gonna be doing all the really
Fucking do it,
fast
man.
fucking two-step stuff. All right, so back to Martyr A.D. So the album, 12 tracks. I think it was a total of like 30 minutes. The intro track is like, I think it's like a minute of just noise, and then the outro is the Bring Out Your Dead
Yeah,
reprise,
yeah,
where
yeah.
it's just
Is that what
that
it is?
played. Yeah,
Reprise.
yeah. Um,
You know what? One of the hardest songs on the record is that fucking interlude. The hell's it called? It just has
oh,
it's that mosh. It's and it has like this fucking sound effect in the background. Dude, that shit gets me fucking hype.
the last words of any meaning, part one.
Is that what it is?
Yep. Yep, where it's
Yeah.
just a sample in the back. Yep. Did you know that they put on Spotify the American Hollow demos?
Did they really?
June in 2018. It's American Hollow and Into Stone.
Hold on a second. Let me see this. So they have Human Condition and then they have On Earth, but I don't see. Nah, I just have On Earth as is in Hell, and then why is there two Martyr? One is Martyr A.D. and then Martyr A.D.
Here we go. Here we go. Wait a minute. Can I do this? Oh, enable sharing, Tim.
Okay, hold on one second.
If YouTube grabs us for this, I will eat my own computer mouse. I'm just saying this right now. I'm saying it right now.
There you go.
All right, here we go. Can I do this? Let me do this. And we're going to do this. And we're going to share that. All right. All right. Let me know if you can hear this.
Yeah.
That's Fischetti, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see what we're doing. Can I find the monster breakdown? Dude, I want to break my own computer just listening to this.
I love how they do it on the hi-hat.
Yes. But they dropped out the what was I gonna say? Yeah, the breakdown. But
Are
I
we
will tell
thinking of
you,
a different song?
no. It's definitely Into Stone. Here, let me show you though.
Yeah, put on the original on
So
Into
this is,
Stone.
but look at that artwork. Like I would get that on my arm.
Oh yeah.
You see that? That's awesome. All right, so the original Into Stone is this. Here we go.
We might. I don't think we'll get hit for this though. We might.
And then here we go. But you can look at the difference in song length. So the demo is 2 minutes and 8 seconds. This is 3 minutes and 3 seconds. And if I go to say the 2 minute, let's just do the 2 minute 3 second mark, you can see that they added an entire the monster part.
I can't hear it.
Oh wait, hold on. So if I go to the 2 minute and 3 mark, here we go. This is where the original demo version ends. There.
Yeah.
Yep. Christ, I want to break everything.
Yeah, that if we get hit for that, I'm gonna be very surprised.
How do I stop sharing? Because I want to turn that off. Whatever.
I think as a collection of songs though, this is like one of them records where it's like you think back and you go, if there is a highly, I mean, we already talked about this, but if there's a highly influential record that came out in what was 2002, right?
Mm-hmm.
2004.
2004. 2004.
I think for 2004, this is the record where bands 20 years later are going to say, you know what? I listened to this record. I just found this record. And you're going to see bands that just copy that shit. I think that's going to
I
happen soon.
I think if you take this album and you take Everything I Touch Falls to Pieces, 2002's Dead to Fall, this is the to Plato's forms, right? This is the form, the template that mosh centric metallic hardcore bands use. Those two albums, and maybe throw in like a Bury Your Dead, right? Where they listen and they go, that's the music I want to make.
Yeah, it's kind of like when young kids find new metal and they're like,
Yes.
"Oh, like shit, like I really like this. Like we could sound like this." And I kind of think this is the kind of thing now where it's like people go, "Oh, like that was the big thing now or then, like what's make it the big thing now?" Because who's doing that nowadays with other genres? Code Orange did it. Who
Mm-hmm.
else did it? I mean the 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 gent thing has not gone away. I could have swore that the gent thing would have went away like 5 years ago.
No, it actually morphed into things like tech death. It morphed into brutal death metal. Slam pulled in some of the gent stuff, those wonky chords and the wow, 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 like the almost flangey whammy sound.
Yeah. But I kind of think this is like that sound where because it's 2000, all right, so 2004, 2024, 20 years later, you're getting kids that are going to hardcore shows. They're going to see them shirts and they're going to be like, who the fuck is this band? And then you're going to have kids starting bands sounding like that. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, agreed,
Because I,
agreed.
I, I think like you get genre revivals all the fucking time. Every year it's a different revival. Like this
Well, it's
year,
everything is circular, right? And it's on the 20-year loop. That's why when the music you listen to when you're 20, when
yeah,
you turn 40, you get instantaneously nostalgic for, because typically that's when the trend is coming back.
yeah, I kind of feel like every year, like we were saying, it's a new genre revival. Because like this year, and it was last year, honestly too. It's the modern death metal sound. Everybody's doing it. I mean, that final resting place is just fucking
Yeah, I mean,
bananas.
I mean, also you could go to the contemporary, let's say, the contemporary Cannibal Corpse sound, right? Bolt Thrower, the Bolt Thrower revival. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. The Bolt Thrower revival is well and alive, and Bolt Thrower, Mortician, right? Those bands are having that sound is coming back, and they're having their day in the sun.
Well, that Sepultura sound, like we were saying, with 200 stab
Mm-hmm.
wounds
Mm-hmm.
is, that's in full effect.
Yep. Yep.
But we need bands to come back out with the 10-yard fight sound because I actually do like that.
Well, you need the balance, right? So for every band that wants to rip off Dead to Fall and do the moshy stuff, right? The Gothenburg influenced mosh, you need the bands doing the straight up hardcore, we should be two-stepping for 90 minutes at a clip, 10 clips on an album. Right? We need that.
Yeah. I think they're the kind of bands that get like not like a new crowd to come, but I kind of feel like it gets the old crowd to come back.
Yes, yes. And the old crowd says, hey, if you like this, go listen to that. Because this thing over here is what I grew up listening to. This thing is what I think is this is what's big now. Put those two together and maybe you'll find some interesting experiments. So yeah, we have gone completely off the rails with Martyr A.D.
Yeah, I
But
don't even
I
think we
think
can call this a deep dive at this point.
well, ostensibly we're going to title it Martyr AD. But I think we covered a lot of spare ground on the stuff around it. And I mean, how much can you really talk about the album? I mean, they formed out of the ashes of Disembodied. They did 2 albums. This was the second album with it's first with the new singer. They did a full US tour. They did a bunch of touring behind it, and then the band kind of dissolved. And like you said, it went on to be highly influential with a whole slew of younger bands, Code Orange, Knock Loose, of using the panic chords and the alarm clock riffs. And here we are. Like, I mean, we were there when it first happened and it was great, but the wheels keep on turning. My God, what did I just fucking quote? Was that fucking Kansas? I don't know. All right, we got to get out of here. So check out Martyr AD if you haven't already. Check out every single band Tim and I just listed. I guarantee you'll find something that you like. If you like new metal, this is probably a little heavier for you, but good stuff nonetheless. Newbreed_podcast on both Twitter and Instagram. Newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. 267-297-4627. Leave us a voicemail with your comments or complaints. We will play them on the air. Find a new episode every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Find a new reaction vid every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Want to thank you for tuning in, watching, and listening. Until next time, this is Jay and Tim from the New Breed Podcast saying cheers.
Later.